And I am knowing that everything is working perfectly. Okay, I am live. All right, so when someone out there in virtual land can let me know that you can see and hear me, I will begin. It is question and answer Sunday, which means I couldn't think of a topic. It's because I'm in between Sundays. You had a fabulous in-person meeting last week. I saw the pictures. They look fabulous. And there is another one next Sunday. So I felt like this was a toss-in Sunday, or like I couldn't get a series going or something. I don't know. I got my excuses, but there it is. So Debbie Joy, you have won the Spiritual Mind treatment. And Michael, you also come in second. So you also get a Spiritual Mind treatment. And Debbie Joy was here last week.
Yes, she was.
Yes, because she says it was fantastic. 3 exclamation points. Okay, good. So, I'm sorry I missed you, but I'm glad you were here. All right, so feel free to post any questions and answers you have. I've been bugging people here who are in person about their questions, and I remember nothing that they said. So, that's where it is, okay? Okay, let me begin with a Spiritual Mind treatment. So this word is being spoken for each one, and if there's anyone you would like included, just think of their name now and know that the infinite mind knows them, and it's for them too. So I recognize that there is some sort of infinite mind, some sort of divine thinker, some sort of creator that is creating everything. And this creator clearly is intelligent, clearly knows what it is doing, how to create things. And it also knows how to create these things in balance and in harmony with everything else. It is a supreme intelligence, knowing all simultaneously and continuing to create in every single now moment. This supreme intelligence is recognized right now, and it is everywhere present. And so this supreme intelligence is here now, right where each one is. And the mind that each one is using is this infinite mind with its supreme intelligence. And so there is nothing missing and nothing lacking in any belief that one is not smart enough, or doesn't have enough information, or is lost, or has to wait for something to emerge. It's all erased, vanished, and gone. Because this supreme intelligence knows all, omniscience, and being omnipresent, that all intelligence is right here, right now, right where each one is. And so anything that anyone needs to know or desires to know is revealed. All questions are answered. There are no misunderstandings in this infinite supreme intelligence. And so any belief in misunderstanding or lying or falsehood or things being hidden or secrets, it is all erased, evaporated, and vanished. All fear that there is something about oneself that is total badness, and that need to hide it is all erased, vanished, and gone, along with the belief that there's something bad with someone. That divine intelligence, being supreme intelligence, does not create anything that is bad. And so this supreme creator is creating each one in its image, with its intelligence, and that is what is present with each one right here and right now. And so all of the wisdom, all of the guidance, all belief is present now. Any belief that one has to learn from experience, or learn from studying in books, or learn from mistakes, or learn from what other people say, is erased, evaporated. Although information and guidance and truth may come in all of those ways, that none of them are necessary, because the infinite intelligence is right here, right now, with all that needs to be known, all that is desired to be known. And each one is now open to the revelation of that intelligence. Each one is open to the truth. I know all that I need to know at the instant I need to know it. Each one is accepting this right here and right now and is able to move forward confidently, knowing that each one has enough to make a decision, to move forward, to take the next step. Each one has all the support, enough support. Each one has divine guidance from the infinite intelligence and its wisdom. Each one has all that might be necessary to move forward, to live this life fully, to even enjoy it and love one's life completely. It is all available. And so each one is open to receiving consciously the guidance, the answers, the new fabulous idea, as well as the realization and revelation of spiritual truth that sets one free of all lesser beliefs and falsehoods. So each one is using the infinite mind and inviting the supreme intelligence that knows all to reveal to him or herself whatever is the next great idea to be known, and to have that revelation happen moment to moment, thought to thought, so that each one is receiving a flow of ideas of truth that move each one into an experience, a real experience, an embodiment of moving from good to greater good, thought by thought, truth by truth, guided all by this supreme intelligence that is guiding the planets in their orbit, the electrons in their orbits, guiding the animals, guiding the trees, guiding each one into that position in consciousness, that perception and perspective in consciousness of being in the right place at the right time, always, knowing all that needs to be done. So each one is moving forward with confidence, with strength and conviction and balance, and with flexibility and ease of switching moves in an instant, so that each one is able to stand in truth and to move forward with truth. And each one is able to change the mind of lesser thinking and accept greater ideas and to move into a whole new path of unfolding good. And so each one is strong, balanced, and flexible. Each one has the answer. Each one is enough. Each one is creation of God, this master creator, given all of its intelligence, all of its current knowing here now. And each one sees that there is always a way, always an answer, always a truth that sets one free, and always a greater, more wonderful experience to be had. Always, always, always. No matter how much good one has, more is available in the next moment of thought. And no matter how rotten one's life is, all good is available to each one, even in the now. So the good that is here, that is being brought to each one's awareness through this divine intelligent thinker, is the good of each one. And so each one is now healthier than ever before, happier, wealthier, more fully supported by the greatness of this intelligence and of this life. And each one is therefore just able to relax and enjoy the love that is present within each one, that capacity to love and to accept that that beloved creator loves oneself completely. Each one is able to appreciate themselves in a greater way and to enjoy the wonderful relationships that are brought to them to experience harmoniously and happy. There is no lack. There is no loss. There is no limitation. That next idea in the intelligence of the infinite mind is available to each one, and each one is open to it, is aware of it, accepts it, receives it, embodies it, uses it, expresses it. Is it? That's the truth. I am grateful this is so. I release this word to that great law, omnipotent law, knowing it is done, and so it is. And that's the way it is. So I remind you, those of you who are tuning in, hello Tina and Clee and Angela, hello. If you have a question, feel free to post it in our little post there, and I will be divinely guided to answer it. Or perhaps our practitioner or welcomer of the day, or our musician might answer it before it is even asked. So it's answer day. Let's move forward. Reverend Rich.
I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
And so let's take a moment now to consciously choose to be open to a great new idea, an answer, guidance, a healing, some great idea that is just so inspiring, such a revelation of truth that everything that one sees is different because of it. So let's do that now. And so it is.
I'm opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Center of Spiritual Living Princeton. I'm Stephanie and I'm a practitioner here. And we are a loving, healing, inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. Yes. So exciting. And so we have really exciting things coming up. You heard about last Sunday, and we had a blast here last Sunday with our Self-Appreciation Sunday. And next Sunday is another special day. We are going to be making vision boards, and Don Maurice will be helping us and supporting us. Reverend Rich will be there. I'll be there, and all of the materials you need will be provided. But if you have an extra special background you like a really pretty bulletin board or something special, please bring that. Otherwise, we have stuff for you. If you have extra special pictures or extra magazines, you can also bring those. But again, we already have everything. So you can come just as you are, and everything you need will be provided. And we'll be starting at 10:30. Just a reminder. So 10:30 right here. Yay. So we just finished January. Many of us set new intentions. We had some resolutions. That's the word, resolution. A revolution is what the sun does. So resolutions, maybe revelations. But for some of us, at this point, sometimes, we set that intention and maybe things got off track. And I can only speak from my own experience because for me, January was a little bit more rough than I had intended it to be. I was sick more than one time. I had weird things popping up. There were lots of things that I was dealing with. And of course, all for greater healing, and beautiful things turned up from it. But it was not how I had intended it to be. And so I just kept starting again. Right? Kept starting over. So I was like, all right, well, this isn't the start of my year. My birthday was in January. This is my new start. So I made that my new start because I can do that. And so can you. We can make a new start whenever we want. And so I was reminded, and Reverend Karen said this in her beautiful treatment, right? It's moment by moment. So every moment, every nanosecond, every moment itself is now, it's fresh, it's new. And at this moment, we can make a change. And so this, right now, right here, this is a fresh beginning right now. So it doesn't matter anything that happened before. It doesn't matter what happened 2 seconds ago. If you had a nasty thought, a nasty feeling, That was 2 seconds ago. That was so 2 seconds ago. Right? So this is a new moment. So I invite you now to think about what this new moment can be for you. What do you want to bring forth? And if there's any questions that come with that, Reverend Karen has some beautiful answers for those, I'm sure. So what do we want this new moment to be? This is our fresh start right here, right now, and I welcome you to it. Enjoy the rest of the service.
Okay.
Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in love. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Gentle, easy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in joy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Gentle, easy. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for I walk in peace. Everywhere I am is holy ground, for the power and the presence of your spirit makes my path gentle and easy. Gentle, easy. Gentle, easy.
Gentle and easy. Love it. So, good morning. I'm Jon Heron. I am a licensed practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. And it's always wonderful to be here. Some of you were here last weekend for the Self-Appreciation Sunday, and it was, as was said previously, it was really pretty wonderful. And so today I wanted to sort of continue something that we started last week, which was we had 4 practitioners who did some wonderful exercises, Regina and Stephanie and Susan and myself. And one of the things that I did was statements of self-appreciation from the writings of Ernest Holmes and other writings within our teaching. And some of them were a little longer, so I didn't use them. So I thought this week we'll do one of the longer ones together. So those of you who are at home, you can do this as a sort of meditation, because we're going to do it together here in this room. And so what I would like to do is, we're going to read this together, a sentence at a time. When you see a period, you take a nice deep breath and take a little break. Let that sit with you. So let's just do the first sentence here together. Today, I expect a more abundant life. Okay, I want you to notice something, because it says in this sentence, I expect a more abundant life. And what I heard was, today I expect a more abundant life, right? Ernest Holmes is pretty clear that what sort of activates a treatment is the feeling, right? And I know for myself, lots of times when I do a treatment, I catch myself thinking about the words. And the words are important, but that's not what activates the treatment, what brings the divine presence to be part of the treatment. And so let's do this again, and every time you see the words, I expect, put your energy into that, okay? Let's start with that first sentence again, and then we'll just keep going, taking a nice breath after each sentence. Today, I expect a more abundant life. I am keeping my whole mind and thought and expectation open to new experiences, to happier events, to a more complete self-expression. Giving out more love, I expect greater love in return. Sharing with others whatever good things I have, I expect all life to share with me the good that it possesses. Seeing beauty everywhere, I expect a revelation of still more beauty. Seeing joy in everything, I expect more laughter. More deeply sensing the divine tranquility in which all things exist, I expect a deeper consciousness of peace and security. Through it all, I feel that I am in the embrace of a warm, loving presence, forever seeking an outlet through me. And you might want to take this with you and hold on to it because it's a really nice sort of treatment meditation kind of a thing. And for those of you who are at home, we're in a new world, right? And over the last few years, things have changed, and it's really wonderful that we can participate in the service from home. But there really are reasons to get into your car and come down to the Masonic on Sunday morning, because as we experienced last Sunday, the sense of connection, the sense of support, we all are doing whatever spiritual work we do at home, whatever meditation or reading or thinking that you do at home. But it's different when you do it with other people who are like-minded. And that's the opportunity of coming down here on a Sunday morning. And it's nice that we have this choice now, right? But I really suggest that if you're someone who participates in the service on Facebook on Sundays, you might want to try coming down here on a Sunday morning and experience for yourself the difference in being with other people who are in the same consciousness. It's a pretty wonderful thing. So thanks very much, and I will do a treatment. So this word is for all who are participating in whatever way in this service this morning and in CSL Princeton in any way. I know that there is one mind, one infinite mind, and there is nowhere where this intelligence is not. And so this intelligence is right here, right now. And in this intelligence is all good. This is what we know, that the all good is present fully in all places, and it is present right here, right now, in each one participating in any way in this service and in CSL Princeton. And since this all good is what is present, each one is now experiencing the highest good for each one. Each one is knowing that their lives are blossoming, that there is newness, wonderful expectation in life. And that problem that you thought was really something that was blocking you is now clear, because the all good is the only thing that is present. And in that all good, there are no problems. And so there are no problems. There are opportunities to take new action and new thought and truly grow. And I know that is what is happening for each one, because the all good is the only thing that is present everywhere and in each one. And so each one grows. Each one has grown and is knowing this growth, fully present in their hearts and in their minds. And CSL Princeton grows with the growth of each member and each person who participates in any way. And so we now live in a world which is growing as the all good, in the all good, surrounded and filled with the all good. And each one truly knows that in their lives. This is the only truth. I know that this is present. I am truly grateful to be part of this truth and to express this truth. And I release it to the law, and it is done right here, right now, and so it is.
Here we are, gathered together in this place. Why are we here? What is our purpose? What is its will? How do we know what's true and what's real? We may not know, well, I believe it doesn't matter long as we believe, but God is the answer. God is the answer. God is the answer to whatever the question may be. What's going on in this world today? To make a difference, what can we say? Where do we go? This way or that way? If we all pray, truly believe, love one another to make the world see that God is the answer. God is the answer. God is the answer to whatever the question may be. Introducing Reverend Dr. Karen Kushner. Bring you the answer to the question.
The answer, and it's already been answered. God is the answer. So whatever you ask, that's the answer. All right, so thank you very much. And for those of you out there in virtual land, you'll notice I posted all that little treatment that John did. So that's what I was doing while everybody was singing and everything. I'm like, with this little cell phone, whatever. I think I got it right. So there it is. You all have it. No excuses. Not that anyone cares. Right? Because we are divinely guided to do what is for us, and no one can tell you what it is. So, having said that, it's question and answer Sunday. I have two written questions, one via email, so I'll answer that one first. Can I say who it is from? So everybody's shaking no except for the person who wrote it. Okay, so someone wrote it saying, what is the role of a spiritual friend or prayer partner? How to serve, accept service in this way, and maybe possible pitfalls. Isn't that hard? Because when you are close to someone, let me put it this way. When you are a licensed practitioner here in our community and someone comes to you for spiritual mind treatment consultation, it's very, very easy. You know the role, you know what to do, you do it. When I do a spiritual mind treatment at the end of the consultation, I wipe out all belief in me about all that they said. So I don't even remember. Most of the time, I'm afraid to say, because I really wiped the whole thing out of my mind. I don't even remember I met with the person. And I've gone over my records over, decades of meeting with people, and I'm like, who was that? What was that? What was that? Because when I do that spiritual mind treatment, in the now, it is done. And usually with a client, I don't see them again or for a while, so there's no need for me to think about them or think about. As far as I'm concerned, and my job as a practitioner is that the last word of truth I speak about them is all I believe about them forever. And if I do think of anyone in my past who has come to me as a practitioner and it crosses my mind, oh, I wonder how they're doing, I am bound in my integrity and my opinion of how I do my spiritual work, I am bound to do another treatment for them until I know what I have known for them as the truth. So as a practitioner who's dealing with people who aren't your friends and loved ones, you have limited exposure to all that they're doing. It's easier, right? It's easier to know that they're just fine. In fact, it's recommended in my old church where I was trained, it was recommended you don't visit people in hospitals, you don't visit the sick, because you don't want that image of them in your head. It's better to do it without seeing it. And if you do see them, you got to treat that image out of your head. So sometimes it requires a little bit of work, but we can do it. Now, those loved ones, though, a prayer partner that you probably talk to maybe once a week or something, and then a loved one, and yet you're a practitioner, what is your role? And so that's a very good question to ask yourself. Number one, what is my role in my relationship with this particular person? Am I the daughter? Am I the friend? Am I a practitioner? And you have to answer that. And part of it is what are they expecting of you? And you need to be aware what that is. Clarity is important. And then another question I like to ask myself in these scenarios, and in answer to that question is, what role can only I take in their world? I'm a minister, I'm a practitioner, we're students of truth, we know the truth. What is the best role for us to take? And so frequently I do get the idea that what this person needs is a minister. What this person needs is a practitioner. Shut up, Karen. You're not their friend. You're nothing more. You're here to know the truth for them. And so if I get that kind of guidance, then I go with it. And I take the stance of the practitioner. But then also, that loved one or friend or prayer partner might not want me to know the truth for them. So I have to accept their decision about that too and shut my mouth. I mean, when I was with my brother years ago, first becoming a practitioner and then becoming a minister, his family, his wife and Kimmy, their child, my niece, would be struggling every once in a while, and I'd be like, I could pray. Would you like me to pray? And they have said no to me. No. And I'm like, but, no. And I had to accept that. I had to do spiritual work for myself to know that they are perfectly fine without my great, fantastic spiritual help, that they are just fine. So it's a relationship. If you do take that role as practitioner, right, we follow the guidelines of being a great practitioner, which is we know the truth for them, and then we don't give them advice. And that's hard. And I will admit, when I have a prayer partner, and I feel very strongly that that person should be doing certain things to take care of themselves, I'm not being their prayer partner or their practitioner when I do it. And I know it. And I can't help myself. Because if I could reach through the telephone and shake the, will you for God's sakes, I would do it. And I have. And I've warned them. I've said, all right, I am going to harass you silly until you take this action. But I'm not being a good practitioner, a practitioner of truth, because I'm believing that they must take this action in order for them to be healed. So be careful how close you get, right, to a practitioner, right? Because we're human too. So it's very, very difficult. Divine wisdom always guides you. You may not like divine guidance's answer. You may, and then another thing that you might want to explore, which I certainly had to, was if you have a history of helping others, like you know that's your thing. Like if someone says, can you help me? And you go, yes, da, 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 then that's going to interfere with your clear knowing of the truth as a spiritual mind practitioner, right? And that's why we have training for becoming a practitioner, to get really, really clear. It doesn't mean that we don't help others. It doesn't mean that we don't do things for others. But we know if we have a need to help that has nothing to do with spiritual wisdom, and you're not being spiritually guided, that's your unconscious need to please, to serve, to help, whatever. I don't know what it is, but usually for me, it's proven to not be divine guidance. It's more Karen's need to help and makes Karen feel better, and everybody loves me so much more, and I really do help them. And then, I wonder why they aren't more grateful. So it's hard. It's hard, but nobody said living the science of mind is easy. The teaching of the science of mind is really easy, right? It is done unto you as you believe. That's it. Case closed. But living it, when we love people and we're all enmeshed in their lives and they're doing such screwed up things, I mean, it's a challenge. I find it a challenge. Do you guys find it a challenge? I'm seeing a lot of nods, right? Okay. So, did I answer the question? Let me see. Yeah, so the pitfalls are the pitfalls. I explained my pitfalls. There it is. Now, over the years, there was one time my brother was emergency surgery. I got the phone call. No time to talk. He's getting ready to treat. And I hung up, and I'm like, my brother. And I'm like, okay. I got to shut up, Karen, and I have to know the truth for him, and I have to let it go, and I can't think about it again. So I did a great treatment. That's it. Let it go. And I had to grab books. I had to grab all these different ideas to totally distract myself from him and what was going on with him, so that the truth that I had known can stay there in the law until I got another phone call that all was well. And that was a rough couple of hours, because I wanted to, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? But see, when you're doing that, as a practitioner, nothing wrong with it, but as a practitioner, it's your doubt that's coming out. And so you got to do another treatment to erase your doubt. So it was the roughest couple of hours of my life, knowing the truth. And every time I had that urge to check on it, I realized that that was a part of me that wasn't believing that my word was enough for his good to happen. And so, another treatment. I had to give another treatment. You don't have to stay 2 hours in prayer, holding the high watch for them, unless your consciousness has to do that, because you can't know the truth for them and let it go. When you are a practitioner for someone, when they have requested work for you, they are requesting you to know the truth for them forever. And then, of course, we are always blessed by it, right? We're never, ever going to be hurt or harmed by knowing the truth for someone else. In fact, we're always blessed by it and made better by it. So does that kind of answer the question? It's a rough one. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Okay, all right, good enough. All right, so I have a question here in our posts. Ooh, I got 2 questions. Oh, 3. All right, so here we go. I love this one. I'm prepared because I saw it before I came up here. What is, I guess, my go-to affirmative immediate mantra when I am in the midst of present joy or good and suddenly worry, oh no, overcomes me? Right, so and that has happened to me. Like you're really enjoying and then some stupid oh no, or worry thought comes in, or maybe it won't last, or oh, maybe I'm wrong, or something like that, right? A negative thought comes into your mind. My go-to affirmation, it just comes out of my mouth. So I haven't thought about this. I don't know how it mentally, I haven't mentally figured out. It just comes to me, and I say it, and it's, I am perfect, whole, and complete. I say that. If I see an accident on the side of the road, I am perfect, whole, and complete. If I am walking across a parking lot in dark and something moves and I feel fear shoot through me, I am perfect, whole, and complete. It just comes out of my mouth. Don't know why. Yes, I've thought about those words. They have meaning for me. But when I say them, there's no meaning there. It's just, I am perfect, whole, and complete, or all there is God. And so what I would recommend that you use is what affirmative statement comes out of your mouth when you're in that moment. You just say it. If it works, you say it. It's because it's your unconscious, your divine self that's telling you a reminder of truth. And there's not a whole, it's coming more from the heart, I think, than the head. Because you're not intellectually figuring it out. So don't intellectually try to figure out what great affirmative statement I should memorize to do it. The one that you have memorized is the one that you do. And usually that will work. I am perfect, whole, and complete. I am perfect, and complete, to the boogeyman in the shadows. I am perfect, whole, and complete. Usually that works. If it doesn't work, I also have done my next step, which is a little bit more conscious, which is I take that belief or feeling in me and I throw it out the window, or I throw it away from me. I used to say, go and be something else, but what happens is it does. So, you don't need that one, right? So I take it and I throw it away and I say, go back into the nothingness from whence you came. So I say my affirmation, I am perfect, whole, and complete, and then if it's still there, okay, all those thoughts, all that feeling, and that icky right there, and whatever is in there, I throw you all into the nothingness from whence you came. That's it. If that doesn't work, I do a spiritual mind treatment. But I would say 9 times out of 10, the first thing works. 6 times out of 10, I am perfect, whole, and complete works. Another 3 times out of 10, throwing it out works. And then that last 1th out of 10th, I have to do a treatment. Okay, so that's that. All right, another question. Any thoughts on how we can make peace with our past as we prepare for our future? Yes, very, very important, because incomplete endings inhibit new beginnings. And so we must complete. My book club, our center's book club, years ago, we read a book called Maisie Dobbs. It's a whole series now. But at the beginning, she became a detective. And at the end of every case, she completed the case. And what she did is she reviewed all her notes, and she went to significant places that she had gone to during the case, and some of the relationships. She reviewed all of that and let the unconscious, that divine self within us, work out the processing of what needs to be processed for completion. So to let go or to make your past complete, it has to come from a higher consciousness than when we were in it. And so I call on that divine self to show me the way, to look at these events, these experiences, and sometimes, dig up those feelings so that I can view them from a higher consciousness. And always, in looking at that past, I look for anyone or anything that needs forgiveness. And I'll engage in a forgiveness practice, particularly myself. We have a whole lot of past to deal with, and what I've learned in looking back at the past and engaging in what goes forward, in order to move forward, it's not necessary to clean it up, squeaky clean. You do some spiritual work, some resolution of the big things, and then give yourself permission to move forward, even though you know you've got some things undone. I liken it to Dr. Frederick Bale's last treatment for himself, which he wrote in, I think he wrote it in Your Mind Can Heal You, that book of his. He wrote 2 books, Hidden Power for Human Problems, and in the introduction beginning explains his own personal journey. He had been diagnosed with diabetes before there was the solution of insulin. So, he was a young man, 20-something, and he knew it was a death warrant. But he came across this teaching and began applying it, and he had to really stay with it and work with it. Sometimes his sugar would go up again, sometimes it would go down, but over the course of a year or a couple of years, it was going down. He could tell that his spiritual work was working. And years of this work, he realized it kept coming up a trace. And that might be where we are with some of our past events. There's just a trace there left of ick. Just a little trace, not totally. And you know that there is more completion to be done with a trace. And you know that there's more completion to be done until the years that the locusts have eaten have been returned. That's when it never happened. And so he sat down and said, what the heck is this trace about? And he did a spiritual mind treatment, and he wrote it, the gist of it in his book, which was, this is over. I declare it complete. And I direct and command that infinite law to remove any trace, any remainder, something in me that created this condition to begin with. I declare it over and gone and done. And the next time he got tested, not even a trace was there. The thing about this, which I know we don't like, because, right, we want it now, busy, that this dance with our past, we can't rush it. We can set the intention and continue facing it, but there is a divine process and a divine schedule in the unfoldment of our freedom from that. And so that needs to be listened to too. But definitely, yes, the years that the locusts have eaten can all be returned to you, no matter what that mess is. When I first came here, right, we had someone, and she only shared her story and then disappeared. I never saw her again, but she had been diagnosed with a stroke. It was there on the x-ray. Airlines would not let her fly as an airline steward with that evidence of the stroke, and she was determined. She would never let anyone say that she ever had a stroke, even though the scar was there in the brain, but she kept maintaining it, and she went to Minister Practitioner after several years of working with this idea, got her health back, and she said, this has got to go. I want to fly, and this restriction has got to go. I never had a stroke. You got to do a treatment and get rid of it. Practitioner did do it, and the airline was forced to allow her to fly again because she had one x-ray that shows she did have a stroke, and the current one shows it never happened. Never happened. The years that the locusts have eaten. Oh, and I have had that experience myself, so it's worth it. Okay, so those are my thoughts. You said, any thoughts? Well, that was some. All right, and what is the role of gratitude in spiritual practice? Ooh, that's a good question. And let me give you the answer on two levels. Gratitude is an attitude and a practice of recognizing all the good that you have and that you are. And so I found it a very difficult practice to write down 3 things I was grateful for every day. I would get the little book, the little journal, write down 5 things every day for the year, and I'd start off the year. I've got like 5 journals that are half complete, different stages. Then I thought, well, I'll start from the end and go the other way and fill them up or something. I think I will release these, whatever. But anyway, I found it very difficult to feel grateful. And I thought that was a bad thing. There's something wrong with me, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the thing about gratitude. You can practice it, just like you practice love. You might not feel the love, but you practice love by setting that intention. I intend. And so when you say, I am grateful that I am here. That one time I remember on our Thanksgiving gratitude service, the only thing I had to be grateful for was that I had another day in which to possibly feel grateful, because I just couldn't connect with it. So like everything else, we unconditionally love ourselves right where we are, the way we are. There's no shoulds in spiritual practice. That includes gratitude. But if you are able to practice gratitude, I highly recommend it. However, years and years and years of practicing these fits and starts of practicing gratitude, something happened. And it was a shift in my consciousness, which I didn't know was going to happen, so I can't tell you how to get there. All I know is suddenly I feel in awe that I even exist. So when you do a spiritual mind treatment, we recommend that you come from the allness that you are. Yeah, it's great if you feel gratitude, if you feel love, that's great. But the allness that you are, however you can connect with that, and then you are affirming what is the truth of you. I don't teach, right, that step of Thanksgiving. And that's because my teacher didn't. Dr. Stuart Grayson said, one of the steps of spiritual mind treatment is, well, I'll give you the steps. God is all good. I am that goodness. Therefore, my body is all good. That's 1, 2, 3. And then we let it go. And so the Thanksgiving step is next. And so with gratitude, I release this word. Or I am so thankful to life that this is done. And I release this word. So that gratitude, Thanksgiving step, and then let it go. So what I teach is, if you must state your gratitude, you put it in your letting go. It's one step. But my teacher said, when you're thanking in your treatment, who are you thanking? And so for advanced contemplation, if you are thanking God, if you are thanking life for your good, yep, go for it. But for advanced contemplation, is that God that you are thanking outside of yourself. So if you're thanking that higher wisdom self within you, are you separated from that? So it's a conundrum to contemplate and to think. But as with all things, I recommend you follow your own heart. Be true, be in integrity with where you're at. Don't try to be more spiritual than you are. You don't have to. You don't have to. You could be right where you are and still get the support, the love, the answer, the demonstration, the healing that you want. Okay, so what is the role of gratitude in spiritual practice? You could do it as a spiritual practice. You could include it as part of your spiritual practice. And ideally, I think we all yearn for the day when we are just grateful 24/7. And that just happens. That just happens. Right? All right. Anybody else got a question? I got nothing else here. We had some here. Yes.
How do you know the difference between your thoughts and your guidance?
How do you know the difference between your thoughts and your guidance? Good luck. Because divine guidance, I believe everyone has to figure this out themselves. And by setting an intention to know what is your divine guidance, and really working with it, making it an objective to understand what in you is all the voices of the past and your own garbage stuff and your shouldas and your couldas and your little committee up there, and what is divine guidance, I think is something that each one has to personally discover, because it's different in each person. It's how the divine guidance communicates in you versus other people. I can tell you that divine guidance in me usually feels something somewhere in my heart, and my divine guidance doesn't give me any information. My divine guidance says yes, no. And I'm like, well, a little more, please. And it's like, yes, no. I ask, should I do this? And sometimes I get nothing. And I think that means it doesn't matter. Sometimes I get divine guidance opening up Facebook, and there's something there, and I'm like, whoa. If I'm searching for spiritual truth to heal a particular condition, I might stumble over it. I might read something somewhere. My neighbor might talk about it. It could come anywhere, from the outside or from within. But I made it a goal decades ago, before I might have been almost a practitioner, but I made it a goal to understand what my divine guidance is so well that I would follow it anywhere. And for a year, I would practice. And this is what I would do. I would ask it questions, and then I would go, what do I think was the answer? Got divine guidance or something else? And I would note it, and then I would either follow it or not follow it. But if I didn't follow it, I would note what the results were to see, oh yeah, that was it, and you didn't follow it. Or if I followed it, I would note the results to confirm, oh yeah, that was it, it all went well. There were some things I never could get the answer to when I was too emotionally attached. Like, did I pass the exam? Forget it. Like the ministerial exam. Did I pass the ministerial exam? I never could hear the divine guidance because it was probably so quiet going, yeah. And I was like, did I pass the exam? It was that kind of stuff. So that's okay. I would do a treatment, divine guidance, guide me at the level of my understanding. And so divine guidance also would guide me for ignorant, stupid reasons that I could understand. But it was still divine guidance, showing me the way. So divine guidance lets you know what you need to know at the instant you need to know it, and it doesn't give you future information. No, it's now. Do this, do that. Say this, say that. Shut up, move on. Stop. One time I was walking down the street, this was back when I was an atheist, divine guidance is still there. I was walking down the street during lunch hour, going to my regular little coffee shop to get some food. I'm doop-de-doop walking. No reason whatsoever. My feet stopped. And right where I would have been, this huge sign from above came crashing down. I was like, huh. Huh. And then I stepped around it and kept walking. So, duh. Okay. So divine guidance is always there, but you really want to get good at tuning into it. And that I think you can practice, especially in car and driving your car. Should I go this way or that way? Like, listen, which way should I go? Maybe it doesn't matter most of the time. But if you go this way, sometimes go, and you'll see why, or not go, and you'll see why. That's a great way to find out how your divine guidance works in you. Ultimately, it's the intention that you set about your inner guidance that will give you the result you wanted. And I knew what my divine guidance was and that I trusted it, and I still trust it, because I wanted to trust that I will do or go whatever it says. So don't follow me, people. Right? Okay. All right. So another question. Wait, how are we doing here? Another question? We've got time for maybe another question from the world around us. You had questions you were bringing up before, and I remembered none of it. Regina, woman in the back.
What's the role of mysticism in this spiritual philosophy?
What is the role of mysticism in spiritual philosophy? All right, so I'm just sharing where I'm coming from. You can't make a mystical experience happen. There are people who have had mystical experiences. I've had a few. I'm sure everyone in this room has had at least one, some sort of cosmic connection with all that is. But in my readings of what other people have shared and my own experience, you can't make it happen. So again, it's not one of those shoulds in our philosophy of how to live a more and more wonderful life, being spiritually guided. Mysticism, having a mystical experience is, though, definitely available to every one of us, always. It's some sort of beyond thinking connection with all that is. When we have a mystical experience, we know that we know. We don't know necessarily what we know because it can't be put into words or thought out, but we know. We might know, I am one. I am one with all. My mystical experiences, my first one was energy. I saw and knew I was energy, and my energy was eternal. And it was the energy in the ocean that was in front of me and the sand, and I was suddenly at peace with not being a human body living forever. My energy is eternal. It was a mystical experience, but I had spent like 3 years banging at the mystical door. Why am I here? What is the point? What is the point? What is the point? And boom, I had this mystical experience and stopped asking the question, what is the point? So all that have described their mystical experiences have had an experience where all the belief in our human time, space, life was transcended, and it didn't matter. We see somehow that we are not space, not form. We're something more. And it's something that is felt, but it's more than felt and thought. It's our whole being. There's no disagreement in us about it. And from those that I've heard about, these mystical experiences have shifted us completely. For me, it was from being an atheist to a belief in something divine. At the time I called it energy, but if I did not have that experience of transcendent something, my understanding of the science of mind would have been all mental and a law. No sense of a presence, no sense of love, of all that I am. Just law. And we do have lots and lots of people out there who are teaching the law and how to use the law and direct the law. You can have a very healthy, happy life just directing that law, right? It is done unto you as you believe. Change your belief, you change what is done unto you. That's pretty good. But oh my gosh, the sweetness of life occurs when unexpectedly we have these moments. And then we are changed forever because we had that moment, right? You had that moment, it's yours, it's personal, can't explain it, but everything's different because of it. So, yeah, we aspire to it. If you're like me, if you keep banging on that door, I did it for 3 years. I was like, what's the point of living? What's the point of living? I was early, I was around 30-ish, not sure whether I was going to stay on the planet. My whole life was a mess, but I didn't even care that my life was a mess. It more bothered me, why am I alive? I don't get it. 3 years of banging on the door, therapy, blah, blah, blah. Trying this, trying that. And then that experience on the beach answered it for me. And if you ask me what is my point, I don't know. But I know that it's something. And it's that, whatever that is, it's enough for me. So does that help a little bit? You can't make it happen. Oh, I wish you could, right? We'd all be meditating forever if we could make it happen through meditation. And but I know people who meditate forever and they're like, I never had it. Well, I get it, yeah. But banging, I think banging on the door of consciousness, banging on the door of life. I want to know the answer, and I will not leave until I get it. I think that works, but it might take years or lifetimes. I don't know. Life is good, right? I smile, I laugh, because that moment happened. But I'm telling you, I wasn't pretty the few years before that. And I have thrown out all my journals from those few years because, oh my God, talk about whining. Okay, so let's move forward. Reverend Rich is ready to sing something, so let's have that divine wisdom move through song right now.
I'm held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the the arms of love. Like a child receives protection in a mother's warm embrace, I am held in the hands of grace. You are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection in a mother's warm embrace, you are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection in a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace.
That's beautiful. All right, let me do a treatment. This word is being spoken for each one. One life. That life is the answer. And so all questions are answered. Each one receives the good that they came here for, and each one is blessed by the grace of the answer being given. Each one is guided, guarded, and protected, whether they know it or not, believe it or not. Each one is held in the arms of grace. And at each one's level of consciousness, each one is now expanded and deepened to accept more. More good, more truth, more love, more help, more answers. And it is given. The demand is answered, and the desire is fulfilled. I am grateful that that is the truth. I release this word to the law. It is done, and so it is.
We are held in the hands of grace, forever safe in the arms of love. Like a child receives protection in a mother's warm embrace, we are held in the hands of grace. We are held in the hands of grace.
Sweet. And so it is. Okay, so thank you all. Tina, Raul, oh, good to see you. Wayne, White Light Universe, I like that. Thank you so much. From Calgary. Woo! All right, good. All right, I think I've said hello to everybody. And so next week, we do have Stephanie, who's going to lead us in person. I will be giving a virtual talk for those, probably about love. You think? Valentine's Day is coming up. And then for those of you who are aware of it and did it last year, our Lenten practice will be posted soon. Tesseract, I call it. It starts February 22nd. So that's a 40-day spiritual practice that I lead. So you can get all excited about that. All right, so there it is. We're done. And enjoy your week. Bye.